What's going on, guys? Master coach and education director Aaron Guyette here on the Living.Fit show, and I have the incredible, absolute honor and pleasure to have my really good friend Angelo Sisco on. He is part of Alpha Hippie. He essentially is Alpha Hippie, and now Alpha Hippie is right expanding into a greater consciousness, if you will, and we will. So let's get into this greater consciousness. So Angelo, I think first I really like to know, because I know you dabbled, and by dabble I mean crushed in the fitness industry, fitness realm, and then you've done a pretty fat pivot. But I want to talk a
Mhm.
little bit and kind of pay homage to that fitness journey, and I'm sure we'll go a lot of different ways from there because there's so much that we can talk about, and we have talked about. But
Mhm.
what brought you into fitness originally?
Yeah, absolutely. So I had a battle, I guess you could say, with obesity my entire life. It was a growing up overweight, being overweight was all the things. Oftentimes today I don't see it as much, but when I was young, and you were fat, it wasn't something you were excited about being, let's just say. And people let you know, and that was a tough childhood to go through and be the guy that was embarrassed to take his shirt off at the pool, and all of the psychological things that go on to that, opposite sex, blah blah blah. And so I had a rather long doing of going at it against a fat person identity or a fat kid identity. And around 24, 25, I'd like to say, is when I yo-yoed many times in my life, and then around 25 is when I really discovered an inner fire to lose weight for me. And I found Jim Jones, which was the gym that trained the Spartans for the movie 300, and I would imagine that that was a catalyst for a lot of people back in '07 or '08, whenever that was.
Yeah.
And then I started venturing down a deeper path of understanding of fitness, and I lost 100 pounds training on my own, and that catapulted a great career in fitness. And for me, what I really like to tell people is, Alpha Hippie is a pivot in my journey, yet I give complete homage to fitness because it is actually the first place that I was able to experience some sort of transformation. And it encouraged me and also gave me the permission and trust in myself to dig deeper. And that's what Alpha Hippie is now. Not deeper that it's better, just different areas, spiritual, emotional, and things of that nature. And so exercise, fitness, nutrition, oh my goodness, if there wasn't that outlet for me to lose that 100 pounds and then step into a career in strength and conditioning and CrossFit and all the wonderful decade I spent in that world, Alpha Hippie wouldn't be here. There's no question about it, because I wouldn't be the man that would even feel worthy and or confident enough to actually go do the inner work until I trusted myself through that physical part where I learned discipline. I learned structure. I learned how to show up even if you didn't like it. I learned how to push myself in healthy ways. I learned how to nurture my body as well to recover and do all these things. And it just has catapulted my life in such in a huge way. My physical practice is my mistress. It's my thing I go to for love, extra love, replenishment. Like, I mean that. It's my mistress. I have a wife, I have a son. And then for me to get that extra bit, it has always been something physical.
Nice. Yeah, so I think catapult. I was gonna use the word journey because we both said journey, but I think catapult is probably a better word. When you said catapult, I'm like, that's the word, catapult. You literally catapulted with your family, so wife, beautiful son, right? And you catapulted across the country into a completely different spot, into a completely different industry, into a completely different, everything changed, right? I mean, obviously, on the inside, spiritually, mentally, right? These things just continue to develop, but like everything else, kind of environmentally, just absolutely changed, which catapult is such a great word. And granted, you didn't catapult, you sort of sluggishly journeyed across the country and visited a lot of people, which was rad. But from a occupational standpoint, especially societal norm standpoint, all of these things, you catapulted. Why? What's up with the catapult? Why did you pull the lever and shoot yourself into something so different?
Yeah, absolutely. It was, I'd be lying if I didn't say it was selfish. And what I mean by that is I was in fitness and coached fitness because that is where selfishly my passion and inspiration was. And after doing a 10-year in coaching and guiding in fitness, I felt that solely working with people on that arena, I felt tapped out. I felt like I really accomplished everything I could have possibly accomplished. I went to as far as Africa to teach fitness. I've taught professional athletes, CrossFit Games, opened up CrossFit affiliates, like everything in that realm. If there was like boxes I felt checked, I felt like I did them, and no different than an athlete that's happy to retire from their sport because they feel that they did it, and there was anything else just wasn't there. And also, too, I really wanted to walk away with love in my heart for fitness and exercise, and not burn out or disdain it, that I could want to completely reject it or it take me, just like an athlete that plays past his prime.
Yeah.
And I still owe it all to fitness. It is, for me, what fitness really represents is the opportunity to develop a healthy relationship with masculine energy. And in its simplest form, I like to think of masculine energy as integrity and or trusting yourself. And that's like taking action. And how beautiful is it that you could look at a kettlebell as a punishment? But for me, I looked at it as, I said tomorrow that I was going to wake up and that I was going to train at 6 a.m, and I got up and I went and trained. And that's how a healthy masculine energy, right? It's not gender specific, but a healthy masculine energy is built. And so fitness for me, and exercise and all of the things in that arena with nutrition and lifestyle, it is actually the greatest teacher, or the simplest as well, for masculine energy to be there. A healthy masculine energy. You show up, you have integrity, people could rely on you, they could trust you, you trust yourself, and the most important thing is that you do it. You take action.
Love that. What would be one? I want to come back to ending well. So I've starred that a million times on this piece of paper in front of me,
Okay.
because I think that's really important. I think most people forget that part. They don't think about that. They don't even know how to end, let alone end well, right? But I want to, before we go there, I want to get your thoughts and observations on then what's a healthy feminine energy to help balance out that healthy masculine energy that you were just talking about. I think that was really well put, right? Integrity, trusting yourself, showing up on time, banging it out, even if and when you don't feel good, or you don't want to, or whatever, but you are reliable, strong, good, healthy masculine energy. What's a good feminine energy to balance that out?
Sure, the ultimate expression for me when it comes to the feminine side is grace or acceptance. And what was really important for me is I had to really sit down and accept that I was 300 pounds and it was my fault. I did that to me.
Yeah.
Someone didn't make me go eat the cheeseburgers. Life, stress, whatever. No. I chose to eat too many cheeseburgers and sit down. Wasn't because I got in a motorcycle accident. Wasn't because my family was going through challenges. I did this. Full acceptance, full responsibility is the ultimate feminine. And then shift into that masculine side. Now that I could fully accept myself, what can I do now to advance myself and prove that to be a better situation or make that a better situation and put myself there? And then you lean into the masculine side, which was me just doing the reps, being consistent. No matter how the yesterday's session went, I showed up tomorrow. Didn't feel great, still showed up and did the work. And so for me, that is how I look to really harmonize or just to explain it there. And you can't have like that Married with Children song. You can't have one without the other,
I wonder how many that are listening have that jingle going on in their head right now.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that's awesome. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like because you have observed this, walked this out, probably walked it out and observed it multiple times, you're able to help people see that in themselves, help people in their own, they're getting in their own way, they're having issues, they're struggling, and these are true alphas, right? These are men
Yes.
that are crushing life, right, or crushing their job, or whatever you want to call it. But they either feel a void, or they have issues, or they just can't, get past this part, or whatever. Is that fair to say that you're then able to come alongside them and say, hey, look, let's talk about this, let's communicate this, and maybe we can figure out, where you might need some more masculine energy, or you might need some more feminine energy, or you might need some new behaviors, or you might need some better language. Now we're obviously dabbling and getting into this whole idea and realm of Alpha Hippie. Is that a fair assessment?
Yes.
And then how does that kind of look? Expand on that if you could.
For sure. Wow, what a great question. So I work with men, and I'm really happy to say that I work with men that are on either side. Work well, or am able to work well with men that are on either side. And what I mean by that is, if a man comes to me and he's an extreme doer, more than likely there's parts in his life that he is in denial of or not full acceptance of, and that's why they're unhappy. There's something that they're feeling that they're not satisfied. And that usually has to do with denying something, thus leading them to acceptance, which is that feminine side. The feminine energy side. And then I have some men that come to me that are at their rock bottom, and they accept that they're at their rock bottom. That's why they called me. And then it's a journey of getting them to begin taking action and building integrity to the other way. And then so I fancy myself as the harmonizer for them, or the bridge to whatever energetic side that they more than likely are lacking. And that is what they that's ultimately what they feel is unhappiness, unsatisfaction, not full potential. And then I am able to listen to that and then help them walk across the bridge to whatever side is the side that they usually need.
So how does that work then? Does somebody just like call Alpha Hippie and be like, hey, fix me or help me fix myself or whatever? Or is there another process? Like, is it through, like how does that begin? Right. Because I'm sure there's probably tons of listeners that are like, yeah, I could see that that's me. I'm the doer, or I need to be held accountable, or whatever it is. They can see themselves in either one of those types of person. And so, what's that process then look like for them?
Yeah, absolutely. So, one thing about our program that I really do enjoy too is it takes more than someone just wanting to send us money to work with them. We do a lot on the front end to vet and ensure that the people that are enrolling in our program are a good fit for us as well. And so visit the website, schedule a call, and this call is about an hour. And I tell people all the time, it's not a sales call because we're interviewing you too. Right? It's to really ensure that we are a good fit for each other. And that because the basis of any good coaching relationship, and I'm sure that you could attest to this, is the athlete or client, whatever you want to describe them as, must trust the coach. There has to be a opening, surrendering of just, I am with you. I'll chase the chicken, Mickey, if you said I should.
Yeah.
Right? There has to be that.
Yeah.
Because if there isn't, there will be a level of friction that will not allow us from either end to actually go the distance and get the results that we're after.
Yeah.
So after we have that call, then we determine from what feedback we've gotten, what frequency is going to need the harmony. So then we go through a 4-week process where we reharmonize you, shall we say. And then once you are in these new shoes of being in harmony, we spend the next 8 weeks redesigning your life now that you have a new lens.
And then from that point, is there then checkpoints along the way?
Absolutely.
Or is it, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so we go through those 12 weeks. That is the core program.
Mm-hmm.
Then what we do is we have an alumni. Once you've completed our program, we have an ongoing alumni. And the alumni is there for support as well as, just a great accountability that you are staying on track, staying the course. And also, too, it's a chance for men to have a brotherhood that they could also serve in. Oftentimes, what I feel that men lack besides support is actually an outlet where they feel useful to give support. Right? Like men love to help. I have my son is almost 2, and he cannot, whatever my wife and I are doing, he wants to be a part of. We have I believe, an innate sense of wanting to serve or duty inside of all of us as people. It's a tribal thing. And so when I'm cooking, Santi wants to put on an apron and cook next to me. When my wife is sweeping the floor, he cannot wait to grab a Swifter or a broom and join us, right? And so the after is this collective that serves each other. And now everyone's at a point where they feel so confident and comfortable in their shoes, they're happy to serve because we were able to clear up oftentimes what stops people from serving is, a lack of self-worth on themselves or feeling like they have to compete with other people.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like that's why the AA model or the NA model just is such an incredible model. I mean, right. It's completely volunteer. It's completely like nonprofit, if you will. It's self-sustaining, and
Yes.
it's mainly self-sustaining, and it continues to grow because after these 12 steps or whatever, then it's like, and now you serve. Like, that's part of it. It's like,
Yes.
has a built-in outlet to say, hey, look, you are needed. You are valuable. And here, I'm going to show you, because you're going to serve, and you're going to see how valuable you are. You're going to see how needed you are. Like, I think that's an incredible, kind of end to the process. But so, speaking of end, we'll come back to that end well. Now, not all of us, none of us are Michael Jordan, right? But Michael Jordan was like,
Yes.
boom, I, checked all the boxes just like you did. It's like, checked all the boxes that I felt like I needed to check. I can hang my hat now and say, job well done, and then move to the next thing that is in my journey in my life for me. Much like, obviously, Michael Jordan. How are you able to then help people not only end well at the end of their sort of 12-week process with you, but then maybe end well to end well later? Or is that something that you
Yes.
help people navigate or mentor them on or talk about?
Wonderful. All right. Without giving too much of the secret sauce.
No, secret sauce. You don't have to do that.
No, it's okay. So this is one of the things that, for me, as a coach and guide, the ultimate builder of self-esteem, not confidence. Self-esteem is the reputation you believe of yourself. Any endeavor that you partake, any role or identity you partake, write down your own scoreboard, not someone else. So someone else can't tell me what I have to do to be a great father. I already have that written down.
Yeah.
And then when you are in charge of your own scoreboard, just go play your own game. Simple. And so for me in fitness, I wrote down everything for my self-esteem, and don't get it twisted, everything for my ego too.
Wait,
Right?
you're human?
Yeah, I'm human. I want the money. I want the accolades. Yes, I want it all. Yes, okay. I mean, let's not pretend. Okay, you know what I mean? Yes, and of course. And so when after you've harmonized your frequencies and you trust yourself and you can accept, you write your own scoreboard out, and then one by one, you knock out the list the best you can. But it's your list that matters. It's not someone else's list. It's not what society expects of you. It's not what this one expects of you. It's an internal list that you'll only know about. I recommend that people don't even share all of it. This is just for you and your scoreboard, because for me, one of the most important moments for a man is, and a woman for that instance, is when you get up in the morning. After you brushed your teeth, you wash your face and you look at yourself in the mirror. And if you could smile back at that character, you did it. And that's all I'm after to do, is really help people that moment in the mirror. Can you smile and give yourself a wink and know that you're the man or the gal? That's all this life is about.
Yeah, I like that, because it creates, it has built-in autonomy or freedom, right? So it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have to be money. It doesn't have to be college. It doesn't have to be this job or this position or whatever. It's the scoreboard that you create, which it could be. It could be just service. It could just be, it could be having 1,000 kids. Like, I don't know, right?
Yes.
Whatever it is. I love that. So, and with that autonomy, and you said, you don't have to share it. right? Which I like as well, because then that basically ensures the autonomy, right? Ensures the freedom to be able to. It's now somebody isn't. Oh, well, did you? It's like, oh, this is my scoreboard, homie. This isn't your scoreboard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, did you feel like going from Chicago, cold, CrossFit, fitness, all this stuff, and then moving into this new realm? Do you feel like it gave you this sort of new life, or this new autonomy, this new freedom, to start exploring some of these ideas and principles with these men that you're working with? Not only the team that you have, right, with Marcus and Ryan and all them, but also the men that are coming to Alpha Hippie.
Yes, moving to Southern California and stepping away from the fitness realm, shall we say, has allowed me and given me more space to step into more understanding of these frequencies and dynamics, and just being able to put more time into guiding in that area. Know that I lived in Chicago, one, obviously, because I was born there, and my family culture and all those things. But when I was there, I was Angelo, the fitness coach, this CrossFit identity, and moving to a different area geographically. Don't get me wrong, I did choose a wonderful place like San Clemente that has a great climate and all that, but it ultimately gave me the space and freedom to venture down and learn more about these things, where 10, 12 years ago I was obsessed with force application. You know what I mean? Force application and bar speed and things of that nature, where that was where I was then. And now I'm in this newer environment that allows me space to focus more on sort of the psychological, emotional, spiritual realm that I am now stewarding at this level.
Yeah. And, not to say that obviously fitness is down here and spiritual is here. It's really two different realms, and I do believe they cross, right? Like the mind and the body are inextricably connected, and so obviously you're dealing with mind, you're dealing with body still, but it's almost like the wise person once said, right? A prophet isn't listened to in his own town, kind of a thing. So now you can, okay, boom, and now I moved into this new space, this new area. Okay, now I can really spread my wings here, so that people can actually listen to what I'm saying and then be affected in a good way, right? Be empowered by a message or by a certain, So is there any particular education, book, podcast, I don't know, sort of a launch pad or understanding that now you're sort of studying in, trying to be a lifelong learner in, as you kind of open up your wings and continue to, spread your wings wider and wider in this new space that is Alpha Hippie?
Are you asking me where do I get, just to be clear, where I learn a lot from?
Yeah. Is there something that you're learning in particular, whether it's reading it in a book or listening to it on a podcast or watching it or whatever, where it's like, oh, okay, that's feeding me so that I can continue to spread my wings wider to feed and empower more men?
Yes, I will be. This is what I look to do is I play a game with myself. And don't get me wrong, there's people, before I get into the game, I really admire guys like Paul Chek. I love Carl Jung and a lot of his work. That stuff is the blanket of, just where most people are getting, where we see a lot of the Jordan Peterson and all that stuff. This is, things from that Carl Jung and then translator, right? Like for me also too, you read a Napoleon Hill book, you've read half of the self-development books on the shelves, right? They're just someone else's experience, no different than mine, said in their words to reach an audience that they're hoping to reach. Right? Napoleon Hill went and interviewed Andrew Carnegie, however you pronounce it. And so what he was really after is helping that entrepreneur, industrial revolution type of person, spark them so that they could further that, because that was the time of that boom.
Yeah.
And so I really love that. And what I really do my best to do, Aaron, is I have a lot of faith or for me look at life. And I look at every interaction as though whatever you define who you may have faith in, God, the universe, divine spirit, as they are all messengers for what I really need to hear. So every interaction, the one we're having right now, I look at you as Aaron Guyette, yet also whatever you are asking me is also what God wants me to hear and show up as. And so I find so much surprise and beautiful enlightenment by every conversation and interaction that I have, because I am looking at my projections and reflections, the things that I really need to know more of. And so when I watch my son, I am learning something because he is teaching me. Or when a client is bringing something up, this is a message for me to become awakened to. Do I have this in me? Should I be learning more about this? Are they pointing out something in me that I'm reflecting to them? And so I really believe that formal education is very important. I've read the books and things like that, yet life is your greatest teacher. It's being served up for you in a way that is so beyond our thinking that I just look at it as an ultimate ride, and every person that I'm fortunate enough to meet and talk to is there for a reason.
I love that. It actually reminded me of the conversation that we had on your podcast where you asked me, what things that I do to sort of create resilience in adversity. And my main thought is, like, when doors open, I walk through them. Like, and it's that, yes. Right? Life is our greatest teacher. Like, that has taught me way more than all of the books that I have read. Right. 100%. So I love that. I love that approach. Okay. So as we sort of round this out and close this up, obviously people can, at this point, if they haven't already clicked on, is it IamAlphaHippie.com? Is that right?
Yes, IamAlphaHippie.com or IamAlphaHippie is the handles, whatever Instagram calls them. I think they're called handles and Facebook land, right? IamAlphaHippie, and then IamAlphaHippie.com is our website as well.
So if people haven't already clicked to that, then my guess is that they are only here for this question and only here for this answer, because my guess is anybody who got triggered by any of the things that we had talked about previously are probably already off of the call, already off of the podcast and video or audio or whatever it is, and already, eyeballs deep in the material in IamAlphaHippie.com or on Instagram or whatnot. So for those that have hung out and want to hear a completely different perspective. So I just interviewed Dr. Andy Galpin, which I know you know.
Andy's the man.
Yeah, brilliant in that physiology. It was so funny. I asked
Yes.
him like a mindset psychology type question or whatever. And he was like, I don't care about that. That is not my realm. That is not what I'm talking about. I don't know anything about it. For all I know, it's all hogwash.
Andy's like, I'm a researcher, bro. That's not where I play.
It was so funny. It was so good because now we enter this conversation totally metaphysical, totally the opposite.
Yeah.
I geek out on both of those. So,
shout out to Andy. Andy's genius.
He is.
Really
yeah.
is. Mad love for Andy.
Yeah, mad love for him. So let's talk then. I want to hear the Angelo, because we've hopefully, if you're listening to this, you've heard the Dr. Andy Galpin's version of this. So I want to hear the Angelo Sisco version. What is Living.Fit? What is Living.Fit to you?
Wonderful. Living.Fit to me is being the most instinctual human being that you could be, and allowing your brain to come second, or your thoughts, even your mind and all that construct, to come second to your instincts. I am willing to bet that if I sat down with anyone and we were able to connect to their instincts and they were able to live life, they would live a fit life for them. They would look exactly like they're supposed to. They would eat exactly how much they should. They would sleep exactly how much they should. Their answers to a lot of the things that they're questioning and or not understanding, if they were able to remove the mind from over chattering and let their instincts drive the bus, they would end up exactly where they're supposed to be.
Wow. Yeah, that is really interesting, and that gives, I think, me a point to ponder. Because I wouldn't, at least my knee jerk, my instinctual response to that wouldn't be that would be the thing. But I really do like that. It's you were made to be a certain way, do certain things. So yeah, why not have that genetic code, psychological wavelength, spiritual connection be that sort of directional, if you will, right? The north-seeking arrow or whatever the bearing or whatnot, guide the way. Mm-hmm. Man, that's really interesting. And fitness definition, the ability to get stuff done. Like you think about that, it's like, oh man, wow, that then goes into every realm and aspect of your life, right? I love that. That's great, Angelo. Angelo, it is my incredible pleasure and honor to be able to chat with you. I was super stoked to hang out with you and the crew at Alpha Hippie, and then I think even more importantly, and especially have the families hang out together. That was a really incredible joy for me. So to be able to hop on an interview, even though it's virtual version, it's still, I just love it. And I love anytime we get to converse. So thank you so much for coming on the Living.Fit show, bro.
Oh, it is my honor to be with you and converse with you and be with you in any capacity, and especially to be seen as someone that you would like to have your audience hear from. I really do not take that lightly, so thank you, and a special thank you to anyone that has chosen to take time out of your day to listen to the show. I'm very grateful for your time and attention as well.
Yeah, thank you so much, bro. Yeah, very valuable insights, very valuable mind. Appreciate you. Love you.
Love you. Thank you.